What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Pod Scum. I'm your host, your bastard of ceremonies, Reckless Rexx Ruger. That, if you couldn't tell by the enormous chompers, is the Freddie Mercury puppet. We're back with another amazing episode of Pod Scum. This is, of course, where the cool kids come to chop it up with your boy, Rexx Ruger. And my guest is here now. Punctuality is amazing, awesome, and super appreciated. So let's get down to it, not make our guests wait, and we're going to chop it up and have some fun here. Let's get down to it. Home from work, excited, pumped up, day job over. Podcast time is now. ARJEN!
Yow.
I'm probably going to fuck that up, man, but I wanted to act like I wanted to act all cool and suave, man, like I understood or would be able to say your name cool. I'm going to fuck it up, but let me at least give it a shot, though, okay? ARJEN, I don't know if I'm going to pronounce the V or not. De VREEDE.
Almost not there.
So I should have pronounced the fucking V.
Vrede.
Oh, I would have never got that. I would have been way off on that. I'm sorry, man.
It's ARJEN De VREEDE. And
easy for you to say.
De VREEDE means peace.
Okay, fair enough. Well, you know, I know you. I know you, in the world probably knows you as DJ DNA, which is a lot easier to say. Much, yeah. Now, and again, thanks for doing this, man. But usually I like to start these things and kind of go back to the beginning, man. So, was there a specific album or an artist or a song that really kickstarted the whole musical journey for you and got you into wanting to do music?
I was listening to a lot of music throughout my youth. So it's hard to say, but the record that really got me into hip hop was Planet Rock by Afrika Bambaataa.
Yeah.
And then of course that was because I liked Kraftwerk and the European electronic stuff, and I liked the soul and the funk and the rap. So there were two styles I liked that merged. But there's also I think the early Beastie Boys records where they sample guitars.
Yeah.
That were really important for me. This has also been one of the major triggers to like work with live guitar players.
Yeah. And I think probably one of the questions that probably people would want to know the most, and when I had Rudeboy on, we of course discussed this. Currently, you guys are playing the material that you guys have recorded in the past, but you're playing it as Rudeboy plays Urban Dance Squad. But where does the Urban Dance Squad name lie legally? Are you guys able to use Urban Dance Squad?
I think legally we are, but we don't want to hurt their feelings.
Okay.
And Urban Dance Squad was 5 people.
Right. Okay.
And the 3 of them are not there. And we didn't really choose to name Rudeboy Plays Urban Dance Squad. It was like a one-off thing we decided to do. This Hellfest gig and some gigs around that. And for that, a one-off single thing, this name was invented. And then we got more gigs offered and more. And now we're doing it 3 years and stuck with the name. But things grow like that, man. That's like, I don't really care.
And now Rudeboy assured me in his interview that we did a couple weeks ago that the players that you guys have surrounded yourself with now are a fantastic band.
Yeah, mostly. Yeah. I mean, most soul, really fantastic band.
Yeah. And do you feel like with this lineup that there will be, other than playing like all the old Urban Dance Squad stuff, do you feel like this is a group that will make new music together?
Yes, I think we're already doing that. We're working on tracks.
Okay.
And I think it took a while because sometimes we're lazy, but
who's not? We're all guilty of that.
but it's, I think it's really good that we took this time because the group is now so well acquainted with the style and the music and the ways of playing. They dug into the material so deep that I think if we would have tried to make an album 1 or 2 years ago, it would have been totally different. Not as good as it will be now.
Right. And you guys feel like, because I've told Rudeboy this in the couple times that I've had him on. I believe that if Urban Dance Squad, were to be a new band right now here in 2024, you guys would be absolutely massive. Do you feel like maybe you were a victim of being maybe too far ahead of your time back then?
Yeah. Well, I'm not know if victim is the right word, but yeah, that's what happened. We were like pioneers. I mean,
Yeah.
that's to pioneers.
I don't think people were able to like put it together in their head. A band with a drummer and a DJ, but yet a guy who can sing in a punk rock style, but also rap. You know what I mean? Like I think it was coming from so many different directions that it just had people bamboozled.
Yeah, but I also think that was one of the strong points because many people from many parts of this planet could relate to the music.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, there's some advantage and some disadvantage to that.
And I probably asked Rudeboy this, but I'd like to get your take. When you guys were making those first Urban Dance Squad albums, what was the creative process like? Were you guys all just kind of jamming and collaborating? Was somebody coming up with the majority of ideas?
No, there was nobody with a majority of ideas. There were like two tandems. One was Michel and or more tandems, in fact. So that there's one Michel and René, the drum and guitar. They worked together for years already before they entered Urban Dance, but they ended as a duo, and they had their own set and ideas and a lot of like grooves, Led Zeppelin, like guitar riffs and drums and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And some of those were taken into the band, and then there was me and Savannah. We wrote, for instance, "This Is No Kid" at the time.
Yeah.
But sometimes Tres Manos or René would sit down with Rudeboy, and they would do traditional singer-songwriting style, and just build from there, from scratch. And then some of the stuff started to, being composed in the way you just mentioned. It was just, we spent a lot of time jamming. Everybody brings in ideas, and we would take cassette tapes home and edit bits and make loops and play them to each other, like if we loop this and then that part and then that part. So a song could be an assembly of riffs of different sessions and on different days. So either way, there's many ways that we work, and some of the songs were actually, especially in the first album, were just written in the studio.
Okay. Yeah. And
Spontaneous.
and your job as the DJ, what did you feel like was the most important thing for you to, kind of contribute to the songs?
Well, the DJ is, of course, traditionally there's in the sound system there's a selector, an operator, and somebody that MCs. And for me, of course, the MC part was not necessary. And I think the selector part is really important, that to have this palette of weird sounds and a crazy idea, make crazy combinations in your head, and that might do the unexpected from the turntables. So you'd be like a sort of disturbing radio emission going through everything, and but then again, there's things that connect, and I think the weirdness of my selection was really important. And then of course there's the rhythmical thing, rhythmical scratches. I was not so much like a solo scratcher, but no, like when I watched some of the bands that after Urban Dance Squad involved DJs, it was very much so that the band would be playing, and then they stop. Hey, we have a DJ, and then the DJ, excuse me, did a solo.
Yep.
Everybody was applauding the DJ, and then the band started playing again. So they weren't like an amalgam. They weren't merged properly. In Urban Dance Squad, the way I work, it's like maybe I could be like, yep, you have solo guitarist and rhythm guitarist. I'm the scratch version of a rhythm guitarist. I'm there all the time doing groovy little things.
And did you feel like when you guys were like around like 1989, 1990, when Mental Floss for the Globe comes out, did you feel like you were getting a proper push from your record label, that you were being promoted properly, or did you feel like that could have been one of the issues as to why the success wasn't bigger?
I think the record company did quite a good job in the beginning. Yeah, but at the second album, there was some. Yeah, I'm not sure. The American record company wasn't happy with our promotional availability, and some things happened. I don't know. So the promotion of the American industry at Arista at the time, well, the second album was less good, but I think before that it was quite okay.
Do you think, do you think that it was hard for them to promote you because you had such an eclectic, unique sound? Because it's obviously very hard to put you guys into a genre.
Yes, and in that sense, you're probably right because that's less difficult right now. At the time, there's like when we toured the States, there was a radio station for every style of music, but not a radio station for crossover.
Yeah, it's a
It's
tough
like,
sound.
yeah,
It's a
and
tough sound to promote.
yeah, and where are they going to play you then?
Right,
We
right.
didn't really fit in easily. That's true.
Yeah, and so now you're back out there again with new band members, but still with Rudeboy. What have the shows been like? What has the response been like?
Yeah, like 99% because I don't want to say 100, but it was like really cool. The shows like half the time they sell out, and usually they're really full house, and crowds are enthusiastic. And I was thinking, of course, when you start after such a long time, that people are gonna like, oh, we miss the old guitar player. Energy is not the same.
Right,
But that's not the kind of reactions we get. We've hardly had any of those. Most of the people are really, really, really happy just to be able to enjoy the music again.
right. And now, is there a part of you that kind of like wishes that all the old members, could be back together again? Like, I know that obviously they've gone in different directions. Maybe they're doing, different musical endeavors right now or different projects. But, has there been any talk on any level of any of the other original members participating in anything?
Right now, no.
No. Okay.
No. It would be, I think it's a nice idea. It would be nice, but it would take a lot of effort. And I think some of them don't really feel like going on stage anymore.
Okay, fair enough. But for you, do you still like that part of it? Do you still like the getting up on stage and playing live? Is it still the same thrill for you, even years and years later?
Yes, and it's still a thrill, and in some ways it's better because I matured myself musically, so
Yeah.
I approach the material differently. And back in the days, there was always, in my point of view, we played stuff too fast, not funky enough, and there was maybe some nervousness, and of course, when you make an album as a musician, that's just a moment, right? And your ideas about music keep on developing
Right.
after recording, during live gigs, and the songs still develop and the songs change. And the good thing with the new band is they take the album songs exactly as they are, on the right tempo, same length and everything, and they play them really as they were at the time they were recorded, which gives Rudeboy and me a lot of liberty.
Right.
Because everything happens exactly according to the book, and we can freak out. In fact, in that way, it's even better for me because musically, I get more space.
Yeah, I get that. And so if people weren't familiar with Urban Dance Squad, and you could point to one song that you think from the catalog, that you would start somebody at, like a jumping off point, and say, here's the best representation of what Urban Dance Squad does. Is there a song that jumps out at you immediately that you would say, go listen to this song for the best?
The Devil.
Huh?
The Devil.
Okay. And now why that song?
Because it has all the weirdness and all the craziness that Urban Dance, the weird tension that Urban Dance could create. A second choice would be Demagogue. I love that song.
Yeah.
But that's the straight up rock
Right.
part, and that's fucking great as well. And I sometimes mention this as the best Urban Dance song ever in interviews. But the funny thing is, I wasn't even there when they wrote it. I was on the bed. But still, I have to admit that's one hell of a dyke of a song, And but if it comes to the real juice, the spirit, DNA of the old Urban Dance Squad, I think most of that is represented in the song "The Devil."
And now you did step away. I'm glad you brought that up. You did step away from the band and take a little hiatus. For fans or people that might not know, what was the reasoning behind that? Did you just feel like you just needed a break?
Yeah, I was doing the same stuff all the time.
Yeah.
I needed to do it, and I've done different things. So
yeah. So it was almost like somewhat cathartic for you. You needed to do it.
Yeah. And I did regret the decision sometimes, but mostly not.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got to take care of yourself first and foremost, right, and make yourself happy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I was not going to play. I didn't want to be on stages anymore. And in fact, straight after I left Urban Dance Squad, I got this phone call from my publisher. Yeah, there's some guys, and they hear that you're not with the dance squad anymore. Maybe they want to play with them. And I was introduced in the office of the publishers to two guys, and they were DMX.
Yeah.
And they said, okay, you want to join the band, be the DJ? And I said, no.
No.
I
Was that a hard gig?
Stages like that.
And now, was that a hard gig to turn down? And like, why did you say no? Obviously, I'm assuming at the time that you did this, the DMX was probably one of the biggest rappers in the world at the time.
No, they were coming up. They weren't as big as they were later, but still there was a good show. But I decided not to want to be on stage, not on that level anyway. But I was a bit, I was fooling myself because like half a year later, I was joining another band.
Right. So eventually, you did want to be back on the stage.
Yeah, but there was a band that played like really small stages. Like improvised alternative electronic music.
Yeah.
So sometimes we had living room concerts, like in weird little towns in Canada or whatever.
Right.
So in fact, I continued touring the world from '93 to 2006, but only on really small stages.
And do you think that one of the things, one of the things that frustrates me as a fan was I don't think that you guys were ever properly broken. And really, it really became aware of here in the United States. I'm wondering why you think that is. Obviously, you guys had a video that I can say, as someone here that lives here in the United States, the Deeper Shade of Soul video. I wouldn't say it was on a lot, but it was in the rotation at MTV. I certainly remember seeing it, certainly plenty. I remember seeing you guys on Jay Leno and various talk shows and stuff like that. But it just feels like the American audiences just didn't tap in enough. Is that a fair assessment?
I'm not sure. I think maybe they weren't ready for it. What do you mean, like?
I feel like I feel like you weren't is embraced by United States audiences.
Mm-hmm.
Am I wrong on that?
Yes, it would. Yeah, but what do you? I'm not understanding your question. Then
is there a reason like why you think you guys didn't get bigger here in the States?
Well, I think the management made some mistakes here and there. We could have been appearing on some occasions where we didn't.
Yes, I brought that up with Rudeboy. We talked about like I said that a great spot would have been like you guys would have fit in great on like a Lollapalooza.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was one of the, and that in fact all the bands that were on Lollapalooza were inspired by us.
Yeah, I would imagine
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you certainly are the forefathers. I can't think of a lot of people that fused as many different elements of music that came before you that were that innovative. Maybe a couple, but I think you guys were certainly pre Rage Against the Machine and a lot of the nu metal bands and a lot of the bands that tried to fuse rap and hip hop, into their music. I think you guys certainly predate a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can't think of anybody who might have been doing it before you guys. Maybe the Red Hot Chili Peppers, but on a different level, on a different scale.
Yeah, but in the end, would I want to be like the Chili Peppers now? Would Urban Dance Squad still exist? And would have made 10 albums, which are somehow more or less the same album.
Yeah,
I think that was a short punch of energy, which was good. And
yeah. So do you think sometimes though, like I'm kind of keying in on what you're saying is how you like each song and each album to be, very diverse and really keep the fans kind of challenged and keep them on their heels and make every piece of art somewhat different. Do you think that a lot of bands are guilty of doing that? Like, as you said, a lot of the albums, it sounds like, every album kind of sounds a little bit like the last one. You know what I mean? Is that something you guys were consciously trying to avoid in Urban Dance Squad?
Yeah, well, I'm not sure if that was a unanimous decision, but for me, it was like that, yes.
Yeah. You didn't want the last album to sound like the newest album.
Develop new material, frontiers, whatever.
Yeah. And do you feel like everybody else in the band was kind of rowing in the same direction, or do you feel like there was pushback from anybody?
No, the thing is, at a certain point, shows are like advertisements for for buying the record, you know.
Right.
So in that sense, there was also a difference between me and the rest of the band, which is still a little there these
Yeah.
days.
Yeah.
Because I always like to fuck it up. Excuse me, French, but just play a different record in a song, or just go around corners and even change during the set and confuse the rest of the band, and they
Keep them on their keep them on their heels a little bit. Keep them
But they
keep
do it
them on their
now.
toes. And so obviously, several of the other original members, as I mentioned earlier, are not part of currently what you're doing. Did you always remain in contact with Rudeboy? Did you guys always remain close?
No, on and off. We started another. Tried to start another band at a certain point, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen,
Yep.
and then we came across each other on a festival. We played the same stage. I was with a South African outfit called Be Fake.
Yep.
Really nice band, and you know, on and off. And the last years, of course, when he started to talk about the possibility of him playing on Hellfest, and the first thing a message I put under that post was, "Oh, need a DJ."
And that kind of got the wheels turning and got you to the point where we're at now.
Yes.
Yeah. And so if you guys were to create new music together, with the current band now, do the same rules apply as the old lineup? Like if you guys were to make new music, and you say you are making new music, is everybody involved? Is it collaborative even with the new guys?
Not as much because Rudeboy and I are from the days of
Right.
early hip hop and the early crossover music, and there's
Yep.
some part of the attitude and the spirit from those days that we have much more than the rest of the band. So they'll have to back up a little bit every now and then.
Yep.
But still, there's of course there's 5 people making music, and there will be quite some input of them as well.
Yeah. And so as a DJ, I have to ask, man, how many pieces of vinyl do you think you own?
About 10,000.
10,000. 10,000.
Yeah.
There's no way in hell you can have 10,000 pieces of vinyl and not be a phenomenal DJ. You've got everything at your fingertips, right? I mean, for fuck's sake.
Yeah,
That's a lot of vinyl.
yeah. And I opened like a vinyl shop like a few months ago. So
To sell some of it.
sorry?
Is that what you're trying to do? You're trying to open a store to sell some of it?
Yeah, I'm selling some of it, but also the funny thing is it's a second-hand shop, so people come with records too. So I find interesting new stuff as well. It's just the circulation goes a little faster, but I had to get rid of some also because there's some music that I do not touch at all, and music needs to be played. It cannot sit for ages, and then it needs to circulate and live.
I'm glad you said about new bands though, because like when you're listening to music from a fan standpoint, are you the kind of listener who kind of falls back on the stuff that you like, or are you able to find new exciting music out there?
I'm always finding new exciting music. Yes, I'm a lucky guy. I'm for 1 day a week. I'm a teacher at the University of the Arts in Utrecht, and I teach music technology to young kids. So I teach how to record bands, how to produce, but also to make art installations that make sound for music and stuff like that. And I like today, I was there all day, and they confront me with all the new stuff they do and all the new bands. So even without doing my utter best, I get lots of information of all kinds of new movements within the music scene. So yes, but not everything's on vinyl these days, but I do keep up. I find new stuff.
And do you have to, that's really cool that you're teaching. How do you get into the teaching aspect? Like, is it something you always wanted to do? Like, because obviously a lot of people aren't taught out to be teachers. You know what I mean? It can be challenging. Got to have a lot of patience. How did you get into the teaching?
There's one of the people that worked in the club, but he used to play with the old urban dance squad, who was already a teacher at the School of Music Technology, and he asked me to cooperate because they were doing some pieces of John Cage, especially specifically. I mean, the one called Cartridge Music, because it was cartridges and I'm a DJ. He said, "Can you help me?" And there was like a dozen of students, and we performed the piece in a concert hall in Amsterdam. And after that, he said, "Oh, there's a nice contact. Would you like to do this some more often?" And then after a while, he said, "Well, there's an assignment. There's a place for a teacher." And I thought, well, that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but and I've no, I'm doing it 1 day a week. I cannot live like. And I need to have all the time for other things, you know. I cannot be
Right,
like
right,
a full-time
yeah.
teacher.
Right. You
This
don't
is
want to be on a teacher schedule.
no, but this is also a cool thing about this school, because almost every teacher there works 1 or 2 days a week, and they all have professional practice.
Yeah,
So,
that's
so
cool.
they all stay in contact with the real world, and if you're only on school, you lose that, of course.
So obviously, like when you're doing stuff like this, it's probably a learning process for you as well, because you're learning what's kind of going on out there in the recording and the producing world.
Music-wise and technology-wise.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And now, do you like where we are with technology? Like, obviously, because you are a DJ, you do deal with vinyl a lot. Like, what did you think when streaming came along? Were you against it? Were you for it? Obviously, we could kind of see it coming down the pike. That this is where we were going to end up. That the physical product was kind of starting to go away. Streaming was becoming a big thing, or whatever. But are you a fan of streaming?
Well, the diversity of stuff you can find is of course much bigger. Like I've played and toured South Africa quite some times, and I fell in love with this music called Kwaito.
Yeah,
And Kwaito is just, there are hardly any finals. There were some promotional copies that were sent around to the South African radio station in the 90s. But that's it, because people in South Africa, it's too hot for finals. They use cassettes or whatever, or radio. So I had to have this digitally and stream it, or when I was in South Africa, I bought like illegal DVDs with 500 songs, of which like the half of them were corrupt and not working. But
illegal
but-
DVD.
but-
Illegal.
yeah, like they copied them without paying any copyrights. all
Yeah,
the
like
time.
almost like bootlegs,
That's it.
sort of.
Well,
Yeah.
So, but I like to play vinyl, but I can't always. So I go digital every now and then, because not everything is available. So streaming is good; you can find stuff. But if it comes to sound quality, there's a different story, of course. And the feel of vinyl, of taking the record out of the sleeve and putting that thing on, and
Yeah.
it's also still an important part.
So there's a romantic side to that. There's something about that that's very like it's old school, but it always feels right. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's probably the purest way to listen to music.
Now, right now, apparently people are buying records, more and more records in our country.
Yeah.
And even people that have a CD collection, they buy their collection double on vinyl without getting rid of the CD. And some people even tell me they put the CD on and then look at the artwork on the vinyl, but they save the vinyl because it's too precious or something.
Right. They're almost like They're almost approaching the vinyl as like buying like a baseball card or something that they want to keep in a sleeve and collect.
Yeah.
It's almost like they don't want to play it. But I'm starting to wonder now. I've got all these CDs. I don't know what the fuck to do with them anymore. Now here in the United States, they're not even making CD players in cars anymore. Everything is Bluetooth now.
Yeah, okay. But here people are talking about the comeback of the CD.
I think it'll come back. I think it has to because there are only so many people that are going to get into vinyl. It does seem like it's kind of like a niche market. There's people who love it. There's people who appreciate the fact that it's old school and that it's throwback. But the CD really is nice. I mean, it stands for compact disc. It's compact.
Okay.
It's light. It's easy.
It's also right now secondhand CDs are cheap and they're everywhere. Like my youngest daughter, she's just 14, she started now to get into music and play guitar, and she's like, she wants to know everything, listen to everything,
Yeah.
and she can easily buy the 20 CDs for the price of one final record. Like
And
going
now
to
that
the
she's
second-hand shop, you know.
and now that she's getting into music, what's her assessment of what you did as her father? You know what I mean? Like your past music, man. Like what does she think of Urban Dance Squad?
Oh, she likes it.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's not going to say it loud, but she's proud.
Yeah, I mean, she should be, and so for you, you know, you guys captured lightning in a bottle on Mental Floss for the Globe. I tell everybody that'll listen to me, it is a perfect album to me from start to finish, man. So unique, so refreshing. It came out in I think '89 or '90. It was one of those albums that I think the world really needed. You know, the '80s was kind of you know, for lack of a better term, a lot of hair metal, a lot of, you know, songs about, you know, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. It was kind of becoming the same old kind of derivative music. And music was getting a little more exciting. You know, then came the grunge music, and there was more of a focus on like lyrics and musicianship. And I think you guys kind of fit right in there, right around '89 or '90, right on the cusp of when grunge was taking over. What was your opinion of the grunge movement? Did you like those bands from Seattle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like this stuff. And
You were a fan of that stuff?
Yeah, and it's not that I was buying all that stuff, but I listened to it. And if you talk about Seattle in those days, I always think about this band Image, IMIJ. You heard of them?
Yep.
They supported us in Seattle, and we had a good night, a wild night out with them. They took us to the squatter, and we were drinking and smoking, and
Yeah.
but they were a really nice band.
So the last time I talked to you, you were getting ready to do some shows with Fun Loving Criminals, which I think is a great bill for you guys. You know, a great band. You know, that really seems to match up with what you guys do. How did you come to be affiliated with Fun Loving Criminals?
Same booker.
Huh? Same booker? Okay.
Yeah, same booker in Belgium, and well, he suggested a double bill tour, and apparently Fun Loving Criminals also agreed on that. So
and what do you think of it? And what do you think of their music? What do you think of what they do? Because I, you know, a lot like you guys, I find them very, you know, eclectic and very unique.
Yeah, I like them. But they're a bit more mellowed out than we are. Like the energy level is slightly different.
Yeah. I believe when I believe when I had Frank the drummer on here, I believe he called it lounge rock.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I may have gotten that term wrong, but it does. You know, it almost borders on easy listening. Almost. You know. I mean, it's very laid back. The music is very mellow.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's always weird because sometimes they play first and sometimes we play first.
Yeah.
But for me, it feels strange if we play first because the energy goes really high and then low. It'd be better build up if they play first.
Yeah. And then you guys come and tear everything down. And so I got to ask you a couple subjective questions here. I imagine from a musical fan standpoint, you've been to a lot of gigs. Is there one show that you've attended as a fan that really sticks out in your mind as one of your favorites?
Well, as a fan, I had to be fan of the band before or during the concert.
Oh, well, if you're saying that there's somebody who's won you over and earned you as a fan when you went to see them, yeah.
Yeah, well,
is there a band that's done that?
Yeah, Art Blakey.
Okay.
I was in the pizzeria in Utrecht, and Art Blakey was playing the big concert hall, and people told me that, like, word of mouth going around town, that there will be a session now. And I was a punk rocker.
Yeah.
My friends took me, and we had a seat, we had pizza really close to the stage, and we had to sit long and drink many wines before. At about midnight, this row of 5 guys with horn suitcases, how you call them, flight cases, whatever. And, the guy, the drummer, and then they played for a couple of hours. The guy together with Gijs Hendricks, which was a Dutch saxophone player, also a jazz player, who invited them there. And that was killer for me. That was one of the most important musical experiences in my life, especially being a punk rocker. Everything was boom, boom, boom. And this
Yeah,
guy,
right. Yeah,
but still, when it is from this wrist, he hits hard and right.
yeah.
Very,
And
very,
and obviously in your days of touring and stuff and doing festivals, there's probably been some people that you've gotten the chance to meet. Is there anybody that you got to meet that really, really bowled you over? Like, wow, I can't believe I just got to meet that person. Is there anybody that really sticks with you that you got a chance to meet that maybe you admire?
Joe Ramone.
Oh, you got to meet Joey Ramone. Okay,
Yeah,
that's a cool one. That's a cool one.
he was cool.
Yeah.
He's a really, really relaxed, friendly, gentle guy.
And you wouldn't think so by listening to their music.
Yeah.
And now, where do you meet a Joey Ramone? At a festival?
No, we were playing New York.
Okay.
And it was bumps on seats, suits, like evening. So it was, I think it was called the Marquee. It was like an old theater.
Yep.
And there are these little lodges, you know what I mean?
Yep.
The little balcony, like on the, and just before we went on, there's the MC of the night says, "Ladies and gentlemen, the Ramones," and he points at that lodge up there. And apparently there's 2 or 3 of the bands sitting there. And
they
then
were there to watch you guys.
yeah, and after show, Joey Ramone was in the dressing room, and we sat outside the dressing room in the window and smoked and talked. Yeah, cool guy.
Now, does it change the way you approach the show? Like, knowing that somebody legendary like the Ramones are watching you, does it make you a little bit nervous?
No.
No. That's probably healthy. Good. I mean, they are punk rock legends. I mean,
and I'm not interested in anything.
Yeah,
I'm a punk rocker doing my way.
Right. That's true. That's true. That's true. So, so what is the plan going forward now with you guys and what you're doing right now? I asked Rudeboy, and he said he would love to do shows here in the States, but it seems like an uphill battle.
I'm not sure. We'd love to do shows in the States, of course, and I get messages on my socials, like people, when are you coming and this and that, and
I'm sure. Yeah.
And I always reply the same. Well, arrange a gig.
Yeah. Right. It's not that easy to do, right? It's not as easy as it used to be.
Nah, but I'm hoping, like, because now we're playing with 24/7 Spice, and we played with Living Color a few times. And maybe we can do one of these bands do like a double bill, like we're doing with the Conduct and Criminals here.
Yeah.
For the coach in the stage, and just to get like a little toe on the ground.
Yeah, and those are great bands too. Like, those are great bands that are a great bill for you. I could see you on a bill with 24/7 Spies or in Living Color or both. You know what I mean? Even like one of those like triple packages. You know?
A mini palooza.
Huh?
A mini palooza.
Yeah, a mini palooza. You're right. Well, because now Lollapalooza is not the same. When I started to go to Lollapalooza in the early 90s, it really was about great alternative unknown bands. And it was very underground and it was very cool. And then suddenly I went in 1996, and then it had corporate sponsorship. Suddenly it was Lollapalooza sponsored by Budweiser, and Metallica was headlining it. And it seemed like it got very commercial. You know, it wasn't what it once was when it started out that first year with Jane's Addiction and the Rollins Band and Living Color. You know what I mean? It really seemed like it kind of lost its edge after a while.
Yeah, they were those totally different days.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a completely different. I don't think that was Perry Farrell's original vision. You know what I mean? His original vision, I think, was what it was those first 4 or 5 years. You know what I mean? It was very grassroots. It was it was traveling all over the place. Now I think they only do it in Chicago, and that's it.
Yeah, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it only goes to one spot, and now if you want to go to it, you've got to travel to it. You know what I mean? Rather than it going all over the place like it used to.
I see.
Which kind of sucks, because if you can't get to Chicago, you don't go to Lollapalooza. You know, I mean, you kind of got to go on your own dime. You know, I mean, it's not like it's going to come to your backyard anymore. You know,
I didn't know that, man.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of sucks, but I mean, after a couple of years, it really lost the original essence of what it was. You know.
That happens, man.
Yeah, it does. It does. Well, listen, I'm glad you guys are still doing what you do, though, man. I'm a huge fan. Last time I had Rudeboy on, we talked for goddamn near fucking 3 hours, man. I mean, we chopped it up forever, man. And I've had him on before, man. And you know, I will be in him keep in touch, man. I mean, you guys are such great guys and such a great band, man. That I really do hope that someday I get the chance to see you guys do what you do in person. I mean, I know I'm over here in the States. Rudeboy did tell me and my son that we should come over there, which we would love to do. But I mean, it would be great to have you guys come to the States. So if any promoters or anybody out there, you know, hears this, man, I hope that we could get you guys here someday.
Yeah, you just, you know, let them check some of the footage of the shows.
Never say never, right?
No, but we can rock the stage, man. We can do that.
I know you can. Listen to that. I have no doubt, man. I have no doubt about that, man. And I do hope we eventually get new music from you, man. I mean, it's encouraging to hear that you guys are receptive to doing new music, because I wasn't sure when I first saw this thing happen if it was just you guys going out and playing all the old Urban Dance Squad stuff, which is great. But you know, you guys are so creative that you know. And Rudeboy really talked highly of these new guys that you have in the band. He sounded exciting. He sounded excited and reinvigorated, and sounded like new music was a strong possibility.
Yeah. And we have like 3 months off, and then March we tour Germany.
Yeah.
And these 3 months are for writing. Except I'll spend January in Africa.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to take some time off and recharge the batteries, right? That's holiday time, right?
And I'm not sure if it's going to be. It's going to be a holiday, but I'll be touring with the Touareg Blues Band.
Oh, okay.
Engineer.
So kind of like a working vacation.
Yeah, working and
yeah.
Well, but it's fun.
Well, listen, DNA, I appreciate you doing this, man. I'm so glad we got a chance to chop it up and we finally got to talk. I know our time difference in the scheduling sometimes is a bitch. We were going to do it the other day after the Fun Loving Criminals set, but it got to be too late. You know, time is not always on our side, you know what I mean, because of the time difference. But I'm glad we finally got the chance to lay down some time and chat, man. And we are in touch on Facebook, so definitely keep in touch, man, and we'll do this again, man.
Yeah. You're most welcome, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much, man. I love what you do, man, and I always have, man, and I'm a huge fan, man. So I thank you for all the great music, man. It means a lot.
Okay, man.
Appreciate you, brother. Good talking to you, my man. Thank you, brother. All right. Later, DNA.
Bye-bye.
There he goes, folks. The legendary DJ DNA joining me, also known as Mr. International, all the way from Holland, man. Such a huge honor to have the man behind the turntables for Urban Dance Squad, who, if you don't know, I really don't want you on my podcast viewing it, because it is criminal to not know Urban Dance Squad. You might say that sounds like a cheesy name, Rexx. Do your fucking homework. One of, if not the most innovative, eclectic, unique bands ever to come along. You guys might not be able to see it right here, but I've got right back here something that I sent away for, which is a picture of the guys. It's torn from a magazine. Urban Dance Squad captures the critics, and this is literally great write-up after great write-up from amazing publications, major news sources. Detroit Free Press, Chicago Tribune, New York Magazine, the Boston Globe, Melody Maker, NME, New Musical Express. The list goes on and on, hailing these guys. And of course, this is back in 1989, 1990, when their debut album, Mental Floss for the Globe, came out, which I implore people to go listen to, man. This is a band that really brought together elements of, and when you want to talk about a band doing fusion well, rock, indie, punk, hip-hop, soul, jazz, funk, everything just seamlessly melded together like no other band has ever done. A band with a fully realized band with a drummer, and also a DJ, which would be DJ DNA, who was just on here, and Rudeboy, who has been on here with me before, who can sing punk rock but can also rap. So it is really coming from a lot of different musical directions. And let me tell you, it is fucking awesome. Easily one of my top 3 favorite bands of all fucking time, even though I certainly claim to be a rock and metal and punk rock guy. But certainly lots of elements of punk rock in what Urban Dance Squad does, and many, many other elements as well. Excuse me. So a huge honor for me to get to talk to the guy who's responsible for a lot of the eclectic sound. The guy back there spinning the turntables, choosing the records, choosing the unique sounds, and structuring and layering a lot of it. Really a genius back there. Orchestrating a lot of the music, really the composer, almost the conductor of the whole thing, a pivotal part, the backbone of that band, the great DJ DNA. I won't butcher his actual name. We'll just stick with Arjen. But DJ DNA, which stands for Do Not Ask and Don't, because you won't want the answer. I don't know if that's fucking true or not, but the great DJ DNA, a legend to me. Rudeboy, another friend of the show, Rudeboy assured me, and obviously DJ DNA reiterated the fact that now they have gone out and found 3 musicians to replace the 3 past members. And no disrespect to those guys, a fucking great band, just an amazing group of guys. But they have assured me that the band is in good hands. I don't know if they will continue under the Urban Dance Squad moniker. Currently, they are out as Rudeboy Plays Urban Dance Squad. Rudeboy at the front of the house, DJ DNA doing his thing in the back, flanked by other musicians who are amazing, stellar musicians, extremely capable guys. They've gone out and found the cream of the crop to take the place of the former members. So they are back in a big way. It would be nice if we could get them here to the States. They are a band that, in my opinion, was very, very far ahead of their time. When they released Mental Floss for the Globe in 1989-90, I do not think the world was ready for a band that was just that eclectic, with a guitar player, a bass player, a drummer, the core structure of a band, but then throwing in, as I said, a DJ and a front man that could rap in a hip hop cadence, as well as flat out sing and rage. There's a lot of fucking heaviness to what Urban Dance Squad does. There's a lot of punk rock angst and attitude. It is literally one of those things, one of those bands where there is literally something in there for everybody and every fan, or for every genre of music. So if you're a fan of any genre of music, chances are you will dive into what Urban Dance Squad does and you will find something that you enjoy. I have rambled on, and obviously I'm going on and on here with my love letter to Urban Dance Squad, but these guys are absolutely incredible, man. Should have been one of the biggest, most legendary bands ever. In my mind, they very much are. Talented, unique, boundary pushing, genre busting. It's impossible to put these guys into a little neat box and categorize them. So do yourself a favor, man. Go check out Urban Dance Squad. Start with Mental Floss for the Globe, their follow-up, Life and Perspectives of a Genuine Crossover, and on and on. I don't remember exactly how many albums they did, somewhere in the vicinity of 6 or 7, and I might be wrong there off the top of my head. I don't have that information right in front of me. I should know that, being a huge fan, but I can name off the albums, but you can also go find them on your streaming platforms or wherever you find music, and do yourself a favor and check them out. So once again, I'm rambling, but thank you to the great DJ DNA of Urban Dance Squad. And now Rudeboy Plays Urban Dance Squad. An amazing episode. Let me give myself a look, obviously. Still looking fucking amazing. Of course, I owe that to Pops up there. The Rockstar Genetics, they never let me down. And of course, you know what I mean. I am Diamond David Lee Roth Jr., and I will say it emphatically that I am the son of glam, the front man for the band, adored by millions of fans, the peanut butter to your jam, wham, bam, thank you, man, Mr. Wop, Bop, Loo, Bop, a Wop, Bam, Bam, Shazam, hot damn. I feel good. Obviously, I just confirmed that I look good. So the universe is in order. So I will end this by letting you know, make sure to like and follow PodScum on Facebook. This is where the cool kids come to chop it up. So make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay tapped into this here channel for the best conversations anywhere on the planet. I will stake my reputation, which is not all that good, but I will stake it anyway, man, and put these interviews up against anybody. Are you not entertained? That is what I will leave you with. And I will also leave you with the words that I always end these things with, and that is, remember to take it easy and keep it sleazy.